Hello and welcome everybody to another game of StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. This is going to be game 2 of IMMvp versus SlayerSMMA. Spawning here in the bottom left corner of Shakuras Plateau, we have Incredible Miracles MVP. Spawning here in the bottom right corner as the Red Terran, we have SlayerSMMA. Now, one thing I think I forgot to mention in Game 1 is that all of these games are available casted by Day9 and Husky. That's a huge deal. I haven't actually seen these games casted by them, which is why I'm casting them, but this whole series was cast by Day9 and Husky, so if you want to watch this casted by the pros, by all means, I promise I will not be offended. Go check those videos out, because Day9 and Husky are awesome. Like, I've been watching them since I started playing StarCraft 2 since release. Both of them absolutely awesome. If you don't know who Day9 and Husky are, Go check them out right now. I think Husky is youtube.com/HuskyStarCraft, and Day9, you can check him out at day9.tv. Day9 does a wonderful series of dailies that he does every single day, well, 5 days a week, where he teaches you to be a better gamer, and I love him so much. I heart him oh so much, and would definitely marry him if I had the chance. But jumping right into this game, as I said, this is Game 2 from the GeForce StarCraft 2 Pro-Am tournament. This is an online tournament that was held by GeForce that I was actually playing in for a little while. I actually did okay in my bracket, but only the top 2 from each bracket moved on, and I think I placed like 3rd or 4th or something in my bracket, so I did not get to move on, sadly, but it was a whole lot of fun, and I actually had a lot of fun doing it. It was completely free to enter. Anybody could enter whatever the heck, whatever you were, bronze, silver, gold, whatever, platinum. It didn't even matter. You just signed up. I did feel a little bit bad because I think in my very first game I went up against this guy who was like Silver League, and I just felt really bad because he pretty much just didn't know what he was doing and signed up for fun, and I think he got really discouraged. I tried to be super nice. I talked to him. I messaged him afterwards. I was like, oh, hey, good job, man. That was a lot of fun. You know, I'm so glad we got to play that match. You know, that was a lot of fun. Always trying to be positive in those StarCraft 2 matches, especially to people, when I win. When I lose, I'm always just kind of like, oh, whatever, I suck and I hate myself. But when when I beat other people, I always just feel really bad, so I'm always just like, oh, hey, you know, it's fine, it's cool, don't worry about it, you know, I just got lucky, you know, it was just, I just happened to have my units right there and caught you off guard. So, yeah, but anyway, I felt really bad after that match because, like I said, he was like Silver League, and I felt really bad. Not that I'm like super highly ranked either. I'm currently not at all highly ranked. I'm currently actually only ranked in Platinum. I have a lot of friends that are in Diamond and Masters that I practice with and play with all the time, but I just don't play much on the ladder, which I do want to change. I'm determined to be Masters by the end of September, so I'll let you guys know how that's going. Well, I've been talking for a really long time about things not StarCraft, huh? Or at least not MVP versus MMA StarCraft. So let's just jump right into this game. We have seen a barracks here go down for MMA. A command center has now gone down. Both these players actually expanding very fast. I've mentioned this in casts before, but I love that on this map just because expanding early does so well because your expansion here is so easy to defend. You've got one kind of medium-ish ramp that you can defend here and defend both your main and your natural very well from all early ground type attacks. We do have some early aggression here coming in from MVP, though. Looks like MVP sent in one SEV early there to try to take a little bit of damage, but there are just too many Marines out here for MMA, and it looks like he is going to be able to clean that up quite nicely, and it looks like he's going to be sending out some Marines of his own to try to take a little bit of map control here off of MVP. As I said, MVP also fast expanded as well. We do have a factory currently on the way, an orbital command now coming down for MVP at his expansion, and orbital command already up here for MMA at his expansion. If we check out the harvester count right now, we can see that it is just about even. Looks like MMA is up by just a couple of harvesters. Looks like he was able to eke out just a couple extra harvesters there. And we do have a tech lab now coming down on this factory, so it looks like MVP is going to be going for that Blue Flame Hellion upgrade, although he is now producing a starport, so we might actually see a bit of a swap here and see some more Banshee play from MVP. I'm kind of on the fence about his Banshee play from Game 1. I mean, he produced a lot of Banshees early on that didn't deal a lot of damage, but then later on his harassment started pick up a lot better. He started to get a lot of kills with it. So I'm kind of on the fence about it. Obviously, MVP knows how to control Banshees, and this is a fairly short rush distance by air. As you can see, air units can just go from here to here quite easily, but while ground units have to come from here all the way down this ramp, go all the way through the middle of the map where there's Xel'Naga watchtowers, up this ramp and up through this ramp to get into his opponent's main base. So it's kind of a long distance to go by ground, but by air it's really not too bad at all. MMA feeling pretty confident, however, as he is now throwing down a third command center. That command center is pretty quick there from MMA. He doesn't even have his third and fourth gas geysers up yet. It looks like he's just now starting to take his third. Two are up in his main right now, and we are seeing a 1-1-1 style of build from MMA here, as we do have that barracks going down, just now producing a reactor. The factory is down. Blue Flame Hellion is being researched for both players, though MVP's is much farther ahead. And a Banshee with Cloak now coming out for MMA. One Viking is up here, well placed here by MVP, so it looks like he's going to be able to scout that coming, but unless he gets some detection up or saves up some scans, he's not going to be able to deal with that Banshee very well at all. Blue Flame just now finishing up there from MVP. MVP, if we check out the units counting station right now, we see that only 3 Hellions are currently up for him to the 2 of SlayerSMMA, so neither player going for too many army units at the moment. Looks like both players are content to try to macro up a little bit harder, try to get a lot of workers out, but we do have the Banshee now out for MMA, and it does get spotted by that Viking. That Viking is now giving chase, and the Cloak goes down for MMA. He's now cloaked, he's now in his opponent's base, and there is not enough energy on either of his command centers. He just used that for a scan and manages to pick up that Banshee, so nice little lucky bit of timing there for MVP. Had just barely enough energy on that command center to scan. Not too many SCVs picked up there, but MMA does have another Banshee that's now moving across the map. It has now cloaked, and it looks like he's going to be just sneaking right into the base of MVP, and one shot goes down on the refinery. Not the best move there from from MMA rather. You always want every single shot to hit a worker, because that one shot could make a difference later on, and the scan goes down again from MVP, and he's able to pick up that Banshee. One Raven is now out for MVP, but it looks like MVP with his Blue Flame Hellion complete is now going to be pushing into the main base of MMA, and all those workers lining up right now. That is not going to be good, and so many workers are getting taken out by those Blue Flame Hellions right now, and Marines now streaming into the base of MMA. This could be deadly here for MMA. Lots of damage here being done by these Hellions. They're preventing mining time. Lots of workers were killed. So far, 17 workers killed in total for MVP. One more Banshee has now come out, but the Raven is now here as well as a couple of Vikings. They are going to be able to chase that Banshee away. In the meantime, all these Hellions are now guarding the top of this ramp, and I don't think MVP yet knows that this base is up. No, MVP does not yet know that that base is there, so he hasn't started pushing there. As far as he knows, he has got MMA cornered to just one base right now, so MMA is actually going to have a little bit more production than MVP thinks. Now, we do have a ton of factories on the map right now for MMA. 4 factories up right now. 1 starport continuing to produce Banshees, and a barracks not doing anything at all but building some add-ons. This one command center does get spotted here by MVP, and MVP is actually might be able to take this out. He's pushing out now with a lot of Blue Flame Hellions. Vikings dealing damage to that orbital command. That orbital command looks like it might just go down. It's moving very, very far off there, and he's not going to be able to repair it, even if he can clean up those Vikings. But the forces of MVP were able to win out against the forces of MMA, and now all the Hellions are now moving into the base, and all the SCVs are lining up so nicely, trying to get as good of a split off as he can. Hellions just now arriving for MMA. Looks like they are going to be able to pick those up, but at what cost? It looks like he lost his orbital command. 27 workers have been killed. Only a few workers mining here at this base. He is not fully saturated, and MVP is in a very good position right now. Still just operating on 3 gas, interestingly enough. He's now sending in more Hellions to try to deal some more damage. If only he were to scout this expansion up here, this would be a very bad place for MMA. MMA actually doing okay right now. If we check out the Harvester count right now, we can see that, wow, okay, maybe he's doing less okay as he is currently 48 Harvesters to 23 Harvesters, landing some Vikings there, managing to get some Blue Flame Hellions into the base of MMA, more workers falling down to all these forces, and 36 workers now killed for MVP. MVP in such a good position to take this game. Game 2, that would make him 2-0 in this series. Looks like in the base of MVP we do have 4 factories. 4th factory just now coming up. Starport producing Vikings. 1 Banshee from MMA is in the base here of MVP. MVP forced to pull all his workers off the line. Only 19 workers killed though compared to the 38 of MVP. Still managing to maintain a contain there for MVP on MMA. Another Banshee coming in, and oh, a little bit of miscontrol there from MMA. MMA was determined to just keep sending that Banshee right in. I'm actually curious to know whether that was just a misrally. Yeah, it looks like we just had a misrally there from MMA, and that Banshee just flew straight into its doom. MVP now resaturating his natural expansion. He's going to be in a very, very good place right now. And finally, the Hellion moves in, sees that this base is mining here, and is now going to be getting a lot of worker kills. The workers not being pulled off the line at all. More Hellions now coming in to try to pick off that Hellion, and that Hellion does get taken out, but now MVP knows that that base is up there and mining, despite his denying any kind of mining from going on at this natural expansion here. Right now, MMA controlling this middle watchtower, always a good move, but MVP, I've got to say, is in the lead right now with his 102 food supply to the 61 supply of MMA. He's now moving out with another big push. Lots of Hellions coming through the middle, Vikings coming down across the air. The short air distance that I mentioned earlier. 1 medevac. Looks like MMA is going to try to get some harassment on his opponent. Looks like he's sending 1 medevac to the back of MVP's base, but MVP just in such a good place right now. Throwing down those auto turrets picking up quite a few kills there. If we check out that Raven actually has 9 kills right now. Blue Flame Hellion drops going on in the back, actually able to take out a few workers there. Up to 30 workers killed for MMA, but 51 workers killed right now for MVP as MVP moves into that 3rd base and is able to pick up all of those SCVs. Nice pick off there from MVP. If we check out the worker count right now, we can see that MVP is currently sitting at 26 harvesters, which is actually double the harvester count of MMA, who is currently at 13 harvesters. There is so much economic damage here going on today, ladies and gentlemen, but I've got to say, MVP is in such a good place. Oh no, Blue Flame Hellion drop from MMA, able to pick up a lot of SCVs there, actually. So, but of course, MVP is in the base of MMA, as he has been for a while, bringing the worker count of MMA down to 7. Only 7 workers mining right now for MVP. MVP in such a good position. Looks like he is now just going to be pulling back and defending, as he knows he's just in such a good position. He knows his opponent is not going to be mining on this base, and he knows that he cleaned up most of the SCVs there, so he knows there's really not a whole lot MMA can do, and if he just sits back and macros and defends, there's no way MMA can take this game. 90 food to 29 food right now, and I'm going to be expecting a GG here from MMA at any moment. Now, Thor's now coming out onto the field for MVP. Once MMA sees those, I think that is definitely going to be the GG. Looks like MVP, now that he has these 3 Thors, is now moving out. MMA trying to do what he can to recover his economy, pulling his 3rd command center back to his natural, which is easier to defend, so I love that move, but I just don't think there's much that he can do at this point with no workers mining. He's only got 10 SCVs mining right now. There's not a whole lot he can do, and here come the forces of MVP. Here comes the GG from MMA, and it looks like MVP is, yes, going to move up into the main deal quite a bit of damage. So, MMA GG's, that means MVP is currently 2-0 in this best of 5, so will MVP be able to take this series? If he wins this next game, he will be 3-0 in this best of 5, and MVP will take the series. So we will see if MMA can make a big comeback here in Game 3 in the GeForce StarCraft 2 Pro-Am tournament in just a moment.